and if they worded, I think things would get better. She asked if we needed more jobs. Well, sure, that'd be wonderful. Do we need road improvements and stuff like that? Oh, that'd be great, sure. Went through all these things, police, local government, all this and that. And she went through about 12 things, and I stopped her in the middle of it, but I said, that's not what's going to improve the quality of life in our community. She said, well, what is? I said, it's the gospel of Jesus Christ. She said, well, you're talking about religious things? And no, I said, I'm talking about life things. Life things. Because the gospel's open for everyone. The gospel is what's going to change our community. You can throw all the money in the world at something. Not really going to change something. You and I can't change people. Did you know that? I can't change you. You can't change me. But God can change folks. And His chosen method is through the gospel. It's so simple. Believe on Jesus. Trust the work that He's done. Commit your life to Him. And you'll be saved. Do you believe the gospel is that simple? That's a trick question. Do you really want to answer it? Whew, got quiet, didn't it, in a hurry. If the gospel is that simple, then none of this, I don't know what to say to somebody, will work. I've heard that before of you. Somebody will call me, can you go witness to this person? Can you come talk to them? Well, have you gone? I don't know what to say. Yeah, you do. The gospel is not rocket science. It's simple, and it's for everyone. I'll go, but I'll go after you go. We have a responsibility, not a cop-out. You know what to say. The Lord will give you the word. The gospel is simple. All you have to do is share, and He'll take care of the results. Amen? So we see here the disciple and the simplicity of the gospel. Now, one more thing, and then we'll close. You thought there was 3 points, didn't you? There's 4. I want you to see now, lastly, the disciple and the summary of the gospel. Verse 17, I don't have enough time to hit every part of verse 17. But the key part of verse, let me read it, and then I'll show you the key part. After speaking about the power of the gospel, how it's open to everyone, he says this. He's making a summary. He's encapsulating the message of the gospel really in one sentence. He says, for therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith. As it is written, the just shall live by faith. Right here, he's summarizing the gospel. He's encapsulating that Christian message in one sentence. Now, I want us to camp out here for just a second, because as I was sharing earlier how simple the gospel is, how we can share it, you may be thinking, well, I really don't know the gospel. I don't understand exactly what it is to share. You will now when we go through this. He summarizes what the gospel is. In verse 17, the key phrase, there's several key phrases, but the most important is this phrase, the righteousness of God. You see it right there? The righteousness of God. That is the key that will unlock this verse. That phrase is the key of unlocking the gospel. What does it mean? Here's how one commentator put it. The righteousness of God is the act of putting people in the right, and it's performed by God. Did y'all catch that? The righteousness of God is the act of putting people in the right. That means right with Him. And it is performed by God. God created us to have fellowship with Him. He wants us to be right with Him. Sin, the fall in the garden, has torn all of that up. And we can't fix ourselves. We can't clean ourselves up. We can't make ourselves right with Him. And God knows that. And so do you know what He has decided to do? He provided a way to make us right with Him, and He's performed it Himself by sending the second person of the Trinity, His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. Jesus came. He stepped out of eternity into history, and He came for a singular purpose. He came to die on the cross. By His death on the cross, by Calvary, by Golgotha, He's made us right with God. That's what that phrase tells us. The righteousness of God. God making us right with Him through Jesus. That's the gospel. How do we access that? How do we take hold of that message? Well, he goes on. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith. As it is written," now he quotes Habakkuk, "the just shall live by faith." He says God has performed this. God has made a way for us to be right with him through his Son. The way that we access that way is by faith. There's the gospel right there. We're in sin. We're estranged from him. We can't clean ourselves up. We can't make ourselves right with him. He knows it, and he provided a way through Jesus. The way that you access that way is by faith, by believing on him. If you want to know what to share, there it is. Folks, this morning we've been talking about the disciples' duty. You and I have an obligation to share the gospel. And again, I want to extend this challenge to you. First Sunday in September, will you accept the challenge of sharing the gospel with one person between now and January, praying for them, sharing with them, working with them to see them saved and see them plugged into a local Bible-believing church? See, evangelism is not done until that person is converted, saved that is, and in a local church. That's the work of evangelism. Will you accept that challenge? Brother Terry is going to come. Miss Debbie is going to play. Our altar is going to be open.